G'day, Steve here, Woodworking Masterclass, and finally we're getting around to making this final pencil case in the Marta pencil case collection. G'day to all my patrons out there. Yes, I'm back on track and we're starting to make stuff again, which is wonderful. Right, now if you can remember back to when I made this pencil case, we made these templates. Whoops. There's one for the lid, one for the body, and one for the sliding lid. Now, if you can't remember that one, you can go back and check that video out there, and that goes through the whole process of how we made these templates. If not, you can check it out on woodworkingmasterclass.com.au Vimeo channel. So if you go onto the website, click on Vimeo, all the Vimeo videos will come up. Or if you really get stuck, drop me a line and I'll send you a link. So, we need these same templates to make this one, but there's a bit of a difference. First of all, we have to change this template slightly. In fact, what I'm going to do is make another one. So we'll have this one, a very similar one, this, and this. So if you did have a go at making this one, use the same templates, but maybe just knock out. Isn't gravity wonderful? Bob, don't you dare eat that. If you look at this one here, we've got a divider going through there. So you've actually got to put that divider into the template itself. What I'm going to do with this particular project, I'm actually making 3, because for me that's the ultimate production run for these. For me, if I go 6, I get too confused, I lose interest, I make mistakes. And if I do 1, it's a lot of effort just for one pencil case. But I've got grandkids and I've got friends, and I thought Christmas is coming up soon, so I'll make 3. That way I've got some spares. And what I'll do, I'll make one that opens clockwise and I'll make one that opens anti-clockwise. Now these are going to be veneered. They're not going to be in solid timber. Now I'm going to need some plywood. Here are 2 really thin pieces of ply. Now you don't have to have it this thin. This is 1.5 3-ply, 1.5 mil, which is very, very thin. But look, 1/8 of an inch 3-ply, 1/4 inch if that's all you can get, or 6 mil, that'll be fine. 3 mil will be fine. At a pinch you could use MDF. I prefer plywood because it seems to have a lot more of usability and longevity in the material, whereas MDF, if it gets wet, it can swell, and that's the end of the pencil case. And if you're going to get plywood, get some good quality plywood. If you look at the ply I've got, it's very, very tight laminations, and there are no gaps or voids. If you're laying veneer on solid timber, you actually lay with the grain, but in plywood you lay opposite the grain, so at 90 degrees, and if you veneer one side, you've got to veneer the other side. That way you've got balance. And if you look here, this I cut out of a big sheet, so I had the opportunity to cut it the right way. The grain's running that way. I'm running the veneer across the grain. And of course, if you're using burl, it really doesn't matter, because burl doesn't have a particular grain direction to worry about anyway. A lot of people say, oh, veneer's too expensive, or I don't like veneer, or where do I get veneer from? As I said, I'm making 3 boxes, and I'll show you the veneers I'm using. And here they are. This lot here, this is called spotted gum, and as you can see, it's still bound, and it's all split along there and jagged, and it's actually the tailings of some veneers that were being cut to length. And guess what? They were in the rubbish bin. Same with this piece here. If you look at that, it's got a split in it. And again, I found that in the rubbish bin of a veneer place. Now this is Embonia burl. You can be lucky, and sometimes you'll get offcuts that they'll give you. And what I'm going to do on the inside of this box, because burl is very, very brittle, as you can see, I'll just see how easy that just snaps off. So I don't want to bend it, and when I go into the curve part of the pencil case, I'm going to have to bend, and if I bend this, it's just going to snap. So on the inside, what I'm going to use is a contrasting timber, and again, this is hoop pine veneer, and I got this from the garbage bin. The other one, which was a huge win, was these strips were actually cut-offs from the edge of some panels that a shop was making. I don't think I've seen Queensland walnut in this configuration before. It's got teardrops all the way through it, like little raindrops. It's got nice bits of fiddleback through it. But again, it was used for nothing. It was going to be thrown in the bin, so I snaffled it. This piece here, yeah, you're right. This didn't come from the bin and I had to pay for it. But if you look at the figure and the chatoyance that comes off of that, it is really incredible. And what I'm going to use this for is the top of this pencil case. And this is the one I'll actually show you making, and the other two I'll just do on the sideline. But when they're finished, I'll show you all three. And now I'll show you how to get that bridge in there that will give you this wall here. I've got another one of these here and a scrap piece of plywood the same thickness. Now the angle I use, you can use whatever angle you like. I find 60 degrees seems to be quite pleasing, and that's what I'm using. So if you like and you've got a docking saw or a table saw or a miter box or something, just cut 60 degrees on your table or your docking saw. If you haven't, I'll show you how to do it by hand. Get a sliding bevel. And look, it's not absolute. If it's 58 or a 63, it really doesn't matter. Mark it. Now you've got to decide how thick it is. That one's actually 20 mil, or about 3/4 of an inch will do. Now bear in mind, when you're cutting this, you've got to allow for the width of the kerf of your saw. So if you're going to be cutting this part of the pencil case on a table saw, why am I pointing over there when you can't see where my saw is? But if you're going to use a table saw, allow for the kerf of the blade. In my case, it's 3 mil. If you're going to do it on the bandsaw, then it's around 1 mil. So always allow for whatever you're going to take out when you're cutting it. So here's my line, and I mark down 22 mil, or 7/8, which I actually just marked. Then continue that across. That's what you've got.